All right. Rick Stroud's been sitting around listening to this stuff. Bucs reporter, Tampa Bay Times, known him for a long time. He spoke with Bruce Arians this week about that Brady stuff. Goodness, Rick, you're just sitting there thinking, God, you two, would you get over it? I am about ready to talk. So when Brady went to Tampa, and I think this is something you probably thought about. Brady's very intense. He's very detailed. It's a short passing game. I thought he and Arians were a weird personality fit. And I thought it would be clunky. It was. They won it. Congratulations. But I always thought that Brady had more in common with Belichick, willful, aspirational, detailed, than he did with Arians. But he was like over it after 20 years. He wanted a little more control. So when you hear these stories that Brady and Arians, in the end, is a little turbulent, what's your first reaction to that?
I don't buy it. I mean, what is turbulence, right? I mean, Tom is a perfectionist, so I think that part of him never really left, and it is a little more loose here, but that's what he wanted. He wanted to see how he could win a different way than the Belichick way, the buttoned-up way. Now, on the football field, you certainly want guys on task. But, when Rich Hornberger put that out, the NFL former offensive lineman, I was actually taking a bike ride, Colin, hadn't done that since August, and Bruce Arians had texted me and said, hey, I'm really hacked off about this, right? Like, I got to say something. They tell me not to, but I got to say something. And he just felt like this narrative that there was tension between him and Brady, especially this idea that he was changing game plans. I mean, Byron Leftwich has done all the game planning with Tom Brady since he got here. That's one of the conditions that Bruce had coming back to coaching. He was not going to do scripts. He was not going to stay up till midnight, all of those things. And so, if Brady had something to be upset about, it was that, they had injuries. Could they have gone for Odell Beckham Jr.? I'm sure he didn't like the way the Antonio Brown thing played out at the end, although Antonio was throwing shade at him as well. Could you have traded for Von Miller? You can always do more, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, he was one bad defensive call away from playing the 49ers in the NFC Championship game at home and would have been back in the Super Bowl. So I was there every day. I didn't sense any tension. The coaches I talked to didn't really sense that. You're never always pleased, right? But I think it's a false narrative on my assumption.
So would you be shocked if Tom came out of retirement? Did you feel at the end he was 44 years old and kind of spent?
No, I didn't. I actually think that he was playing as good a football as people have seen him play. And that's what's so a little bit surprising about it is that, he went out on top in the sense that he led the NFL in passing, 5,316 yards, 43 touchdowns. He absolutely could throw it on dimes. We saw the last deep ball he threw to Mike Evans. You can't throw it any better. By the same token, I think we're into the blame game, a little bit. It's like the guy played 22 years, and right now people are living in, the magical place of never say never land. Like, Tom said, never say never. So therefore, he must be plotting some comeback. And maybe he is. But I think, guys I talked to said this was very possible. Look, he's got a 14-year-old son that's going into high school in New York. He has a very strong wife in Giselle that I think has wanted him to stop playing a number of years ago. And he won a Super Bowl here. There really isn't anything else for him to prove. But I've always said this, Colin, the greater the player, the longer they stay at the party, right? The lights are on, the vacuums are sweeping up, and they're still there. They're still the last ones out the door. So maybe you never say never with Tom Brady, but I think he's pretty calculating. He's thought this through. He's probably, in my opinion, I think he's retired.
Yeah. Gronk, he's a pending free agent. He's going to retire. He'll shut it down without Tommy, right?
I think so. I think we're just maybe a couple days, if not a week or so away. I think when they get the free agency, Gronk will let them know that he's not coming back. Look, he retired once. It won't be hard to do it a second time. The only quarterback he's played for really is Tom Brady. And, think about that Hall of Fame class, right, in 5 years when you have Ben Roethlisberger and Brady and Gronk going in together. That might be appealing to him, too. So I really don't. He paid a big price last year with the rib injuries. He really gutted through some things. And I think it reminded him of why he retired in the first place.
Yeah. For the record, Tampa doesn't have a quarterback. It's a rebuilding division. That goes without saying. In fact, it'll be the weakest division in the league. Tampa's the best roster. So to me, I think, your GM and your coach look at it and think, if we can be decent at quarterback, we're going to win this thing. I think Garoppolo, I guess you're still paying Tommy. Garoppolo feels like a decent fit to me, or is that a reach? What do you, I mean, I don't think they'll just sit in the sidelines. It's their division if they can be competent at quarterback.
Yeah, Colin, they're going to take swings at it. I mean, I will say this. This is what I know about where they stand right now. You're right. Jimmy Garoppolo is available through a trade. I think the Bucs look at him as, well, he's great if you want to run it 40 times a game. That's not what they do here. I don't think he's a fit for the Buccaneers. Then you look at Deshaun Watson, maybe also available through a trade. I don't think the owners are going to sign off on that one. And we still don't know, all the legal ramifications of his deal right now. Russell Wilson, yeah, that'd be great. I just heard you talk about him for 5 minutes. You might as well try to get the Space Needle thrown in too, because I don't think Seattle's getting rid of Russell Wilson. I just don't. And so what does that leave? I mean, realistically, it's grim, right? They like Kyle Trask. They think he's better than any quarterback in this draft. You can argue, you pick 27th. Maybe that's easy to say. He's not ready to play yet. I think you're going to see a situation where Blaine Gabbert is back, maybe competing. They could bring in a Teddy Bridgewater to compete, not to just hand him the job. I don't really know at the end of the day exactly how it's going to shake out. I don't think Carson Wentz they view as a big upgrade. So they'll take their swings, but man, tell me who's available that's really a great fit. And I think everybody looks at the same quarterback in Seattle and says, yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah. All right, Rick Stroud, Tampa Bay Times. Been doing this a long time. Knows what he's doing. Good seeing you again, man.
Good seeing you, Colin. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Yeah. That Brady thing is he was throwing the ball great at the end of the year. He was.
He had an MVP level season.
Yeah. I swear to God, we should do a topic someday on things that sound crazy but happened, and it is remarkable. I mean, if you really think about it, the Detroit Lions traded Matt Stafford for Jared Goff in the NFC. What? Why would you say, I'll take the lesser of quarterbacks? Why would you do that? I mean, it's that one alone is like, I get the Rams doing it. If I was the Lions, I don't want to have to watch him drive through the NFC and make my organization look second tier more than it is. There's a lot of stuff out there that is shocking. Brady going to Tampa.
I think that's the craziest one.
I mean, they had no winning culture. They're the only franchise in the history of the NFL that's never had a great quarterback. Tom arrives. I mean, it's crazy. When you think of what happens.
I mean, out of all the options that were on the table, I thought that was like outrageous.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.